Excuse me, madam.
Yes, what is it, dearie?
I need something from you.
Oh, what is that?
Your head.
Excuse me? Please speak louder.
Oh, the guild wants me to hunt some elders.
Oh, honey, I think they said elder dragons.
Well, it's a possibility, but I digress. Get in the pot. Ladies, gentlemen, and monsters of all ages, it's time to finally settle the age-old debate. Which old age monster, which elder dragons, are, well, let's say, not quite as up to par as the others. Today, my particularly peculiar pelicans, yes, you, it is time for a dissection of the official community-generated list of the top 5 worst elder dragons in Monster Hunter. It's a little unusual, especially where your guys' opinions are involved. I mean, what, are you crazy? There's no way X monster should have X amount of votes. Those were variables, in case you didn't notice. If you want to take part in the next list, the official top 5 end bosses of Monster Hunter, just give a little scroll to the description of this video, where a handy dandy link will present itself leading you directly to the voting form. If you do vote, make sure that you also stop to comment on this video why you voted the way that you did, and you may even see your comment show up in the video itself. For those who don't know, I have absolutely no influence on the outcome of this list, not even creating the options to vote for themselves, instead leaving that up to you guys to fill in and fill up, only stepping in for tiny little bits of moderation every once in a while when someone inevitably submits a ridiculously offensive thing. It happens all the time. Getting into the core of the experience then, we'll be going over the list itself of the top 5 worst elder dragons as voted by you, followed by a little graph-based analysis of the experiment and voting as a whole. So without further ado, let's begin with...
Number 5, with 9.29% of the votes.
Okie dokie, let's fire blue particle cannons full.
Lunastra.
Lunastra was not a fun monster to fight cause all of her attacks dealt damage wherever you stepped on the flames, and his supernova was not easy to dodge as it does so much ticking damage.
Lunastra totally changed the game, at least in the new world, as far as monster mechanics go, really. She added more serious damaging pools that stay around on the floor, and she presented a unique attack that could be somewhat easily countered with a specific item, Astera Jerky, which has made a number of appearances being useful in the game since. I don't know, I think I'm hard in the minority on this one, but I don't dislike Lunastra. I agree that parts of her fight can be just plain unfun at times, but the precision and detail of her design just make me appreciate her so much, though I can definitely see where this feeling comes from.
The worst elder dragon for me is Lunastra. I love the idea, but her supernova is so OP to the point where my friend, when going about his first playthrough, asked me to use my Iceborne gear just to let him get the temporal mantle.
And this actually here is a bit of an example of what I think some people struggle with in the game with DLC monsters in general, not just Luna, but any monster released after the release of the game / expansion with Iceborne. Honest to God, regardless of your friend's skill level, I can nearly guarantee you, if your friend is doing high rank Lunastra for the first time while you are in master rank armor, they probably didn't do a whole lot of endgame high rank farming. Lunastra was released months and months after Monster Hunter World itself. She was balanced around the people who made builds and farmed decorations, kept sets updated with each new monster release, all of that stuff, because that is just how Capcom balances the DLC. That is the player base that they want to appease the most. So the situation your friend is in is one that I will liken to someone who played through the base game, didn't play for a few months, then just hopped directly into Lunastra. It's doable, sure, but it's gonna be damn hard. And it's been the same thing with pretty much every DLC monster since 2. Even if you drop out on the second DLC monster with a decent set, you leave for a few months, you come back for a new monster, your set's gonna be a little bit out of date. It may not be as out of date as someone who's only played the base game, but you're making it harder for yourself. That's just how they balance it.
Number 4, with 10.02% of the votes.
Not really. I do have a bearded dragon.
Laoshan Lung.
Laoshan Lung has got to be the worst elder dragon. All it does during its hunt is run very slowly, make boulders rain from the sky, and occasionally slam into the side of the canyon with its body to injure hunters. and compared to other siege elder dragons, mostly elder dragons in general, it's the most lacking out of the rest.
I have a significant agreement with this comment. Laoshan Lung is probably my personal number one for this, just because I guess I judge based on design more than anything else, and obviously I went through the entirety of the new world monsters and a ton of the more unique old world monsters before I even saw Laoshan Lung himself, the long, wingless old man lizard. He's neat, but just compared to everything else, and especially compared to elder dragons, he's just not quite up to par on that front. And yeah, it probably is because he was the original siege monster, but time brings out the cracks in all of us.
Laoshan Lung purely because he's so boring for an elder dragon. I don't have to explain further at this point.
Yeah, I didn't even hugely touch on his actual attacks in the last one. He really doesn't do much. Just continually moving forward forever and ever, lightly bopping you when he feels like it, but for the most part, just letting you slowly wail on him. What a fight. What an experience. If this is the Laoshan Lung, I'd hate to see what the whole Laoshan body is like.
Number 3 with 10.10% of the votes.
3 damage. Lightning bolt! Lightning bolt! Lightning bolt!
Kieran.
Kieran has to be my least favorite elder dragon. I just don't like his thunder. It isn't very cool, and I think that other monsters have better lightning. However, I don't like what Kieran does while he does lightning. Take Xenogre for an example. He jumps around and does cool things with his lightning bugs. Kieran just walks around and it's cool the first time, but then it just gets really boring.
This is a very interesting point. I haven't thought about it much, but yeah, Kieran is a very old world animation style type of monster, still in the new world in comparison to some of the other returning Thunder monsters. He still just sort of slowly walks around or stands still when the lightning's firing off, almost like he has those sort of waiting animations that a lot of old monsters did. And it's sort of like, it's like in a movie when you see a bad guy eat an apple. It just makes them look like a prick. And Kieran, when I'm fighting you, dodging lightning like my damn life depends on it, I'd appreciate it if you weren't just staring at me like I'm an idiot. It makes me feel self-conscious.
For me, Kieran is the worst elder dragon. First up, it's not even a dragon, it's a fricking unicorn with a weird face. Also, its consistent spamming of lightning is very annoying and they hurt a lot. Also, hi Cotton, how you doing? Winking.
I'm doing good right now. How are you, Elijah? And yeah, okay, maybe Kieran isn't like a dragon, you're right, but that isn't an actual, like, part of Elder Dragon. His face is weird, though. And the fight is just lightning after lightning after lightning after lightning. It's an awesome monster concept and a very cool idea, and it's a hell of a spectacle when you see it for the first time, raining these just beams of lightning from above, but Kieran might be one of the least enjoyable repeat fights, like, to do it again. And then again, and then again, and again, and again. Like, of all the monsters that I want to boot up the game right now, to fight right now, Kieran is not even remotely on the radar.
Number 2 with 11.71% of the votes.
One often meets his destiny on the road he takes to avoid it.
Zoro Magdaros.
The fact that the Zoro Magdaros fight could have been so freaking cool, but instead turned out to be 15 to 20 minute interactive cutscene really hurts my soul.
This is a fantastic little comment that just sums up pretty much everything about Zoro Magdaros. He doesn't even fight back as much as Laoshan Lung does, which is crazy to say, but it's true. The big one here is the missed potential, though. His design, his concept, it's really damn cool. Gigantic magma volcano turtle, and it could have even been this super memorable mid-game experience that we would even compare to end-of-story monsters, but instead we got to pop some pimples on his back and then sit around for a while before fighting a different monster more than we ever really fight Zoro himself. Then we shoot some cannons and stuff at him and he goes away. This is an accurate description of the fight, and that should just simply not be the case. That should not be a thing that I can say about the quest and have it be true. Honestly, it's just so disappointing. I know that we have better volcano monsters already in the series, but his whole thing is being an unstoppable force. He's practically made of magma, so why not have him already be, well, unstoppable? We could have had to take a ride along Zoro as he easily breaks through wooden barrier after wooden barrier, trying to steer him towards walls to slow him down or something like that. I'm saying even if he would never have had a proper mono monster fight, you could have made the interactive experience a proper intense spectacle. It was just such a missed opportunity. That's it.
Number 1 with 33.6% of the votes.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Kashala Deora.
Oh, what a surprise. Kashala de Aura, you're like the yang to Valstrax's yin. If the community list is about the best something, Valstrax shows up. If the list is about the worst something, well, hey, nice to see you again, Kashala. It's alright though, I'm sure the community doesn't hate you that much, right?
Aura the Explorer can go find eternal suffering in hell. I like struggling to dodge a monster, not struggling to hit it. It's also pretty cheap. How if you get trapped between a wall and tornado, you're gonna get carted.
There was a sentence in there that I really do actually want to focus on. I like struggling to dodge a monster, not struggling to hit it. That right there is so on point, so apt, and honestly it applies to a lot of my dislikes of the game mechanics in general. Things like the stun mechanic, which just fully remove control of your character. I feel like I'm fighting against the creature, not against myself, and Kashala is the perfect example. I mean, the first time that I fought him, when I was a wee little noob who didn't even know I should be using the farm to get more honey, I fought Kashala in World for the first time with dual blades. I regret this experience to this day. The one time that I did it with the range of dual blades, the only place that you can hit him without being hit by his wind aura is right up under his chin or right at the edge of his paws. But the thing is, because you are so close to be able to even hit those places, if he moves like half an inch in his attack animation, which he often does, he is liable to just move the wind aura into you and flinch you regardless. Big pain. I do think that mastering Kashala is at least less frustrating than he was before. Making it so all of his tornadoes go together means there is just a lower number of overall tornadoes, even if the one is just bigger. My main issue is, always has been, and always will be his wind aura, though. It is just frustrating. It's not even like you can evade it with a skill. It takes an entire set bonus, and ain't nobody got build space for that. And that just about does it for the top 5, everyone, which brings us right around to our weekly analysis of the experiment as a whole and the voting involved. And, yeah, I do know that I myself am on this list.
Ha! Take that!
Well, they also said that I was a better Elder Dragon than you are. So if I'm one of the worst, then what are you? But the next note is, holy crap, how do you guys keep doing this? In the first place, with over 30% of the vote, Kashala, that's insane. Are you guys like having mass meetings with each other where you organize who you want to vote for? Because in any list, at any time, one option having this much support can only really mean one thing, that the majority here is very, very strong. Like, how do I put this in easier context? The entire rest of the top 5, from 5 to 2, is 9 to 12% of the votes individually. That is fairly reasonable, close to what I would expect from top 5 answers. Sure, we only had 20 different entries actually on the list today, but even then, if number 2 is 12% and number 1 is 30%, that sure says a lot. The other major jump here is actually right after the top 5. The top 5 was very concrete, very together, to the point that number 6 had less than half of the votes of number 5. Really made my job easy here, guys. Thanks. Alright everyone, I've been Cotton Dinosaur, and this has been your list of the official top 5 worst Elder Dragons in Monster Hunter. Do you agree with the majority on this one? Which of these lists would you like to see us do next? Like if you liked the video, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet. This is the brand new outro to tell you all the things that you do that we love, so let's start with something simple and say, oh, we love your eyes. When they're watching us play video games, when we make a bunch of jokes that are kinda lame, or when they gaze upon our failures as we try to kill the monsters or important news about the kingdom and Amelia. Rage, Content, and Hollow are all here, talking about the things you want to hear. So if you want to be the first to hear, like and subscribe and the bell and we'll cheer. Some of you are patrons, even though we are all the noobs and you're the pros. There's nothing we can do to thank you. No, really, there's nothing we could possibly do. Goodbye.